Questions for chumps. Let's go from 0 to 20 in one turn without a single quest. Do you think it's possible? Well, it totally is. So here is a deck that people have been talking about since the card was revealed, and the card is We Know the Way. However, I sat there looking at it, and every time somebody said, you know, this is a thing, look at this card, we can combo off with it. The question that I kept bringing up was, yeah, but how do you get to the bottom of your deck? And with Fabled, we do have the cards to be able to finally get to the bottom of our deck, to be able to do the We Know the Way combo in its most perfect form, I guess. So let's take a look at what this deck list looks like. And then we will go into a game where the combo worked great, and I will try real hard to narrate exactly what is going on screen. All right, so here is the deck list. As you can see, it is something that I promised by accident a couple weeks ago, which is a Amber Dumbo list. So a couple weeks ago, I wrote on Instagram, hey, look, I have Amber Dumbo. I meant Amethyst, but here's Amber Dumbo. So this deck has a decent kind of like the standard real strong Amethyst core with the Dumbo, the evasive line, the draw cards off of the Dumbo, but also the answers in that line, like the Elsa the Fifth Spirit, and the bell to be able to move damage around. We do have a Monstro, which Josh has absolutely loved since since he started playing him. Just the fact that he is so big and you can discard a card to ready him, just meant that he could kind of clean up the field, or he could keep singing you songs, which is kind of one of the ideas here.
I mean, it's called full breach. You just got breach.
Yeah,
like it's in the name.
You sing that at the store all the time. The other cards that we have that are like the cards that help us cross that line are the cards that kind of help us stall the game to be able to get there. Like our early game fighters like Rafiki or the Royal Guard, and then Mim Tiny Adversary, that just kind of pumps everything up. So the problem that a lot of these decks, come up against, which is very much a design thing, is they're 1 point shy often for being able to take something out of a kind of equal value of theirs in a different color. So it means that if something has a 4 willpower, a lot of the characters that come down to challenge on that turn have at most a 3 willpower, a 3 strength, which means that the Mim Tiny Adversary, giving everything a +1 to their strength, makes those numbers a lot more easy to reach, to be able to just cleanly answer a character with one of your characters, as opposed to needing a song to do damage or a second character to swing in. Other things that we have here are like the lanterns. So this deck uses real big characters like the Monstro and the Donald Duck here. And it loses the Sapphire ramp. So no T-Pose, no Sail the Azurite Seas means that we have to play them fairly. But if we play a lantern, we don't have to play them as fairly anymore, because that lantern gives us a discount on our characters, which means every turn we're now in ink, if you will, ahead of being able to play those characters. And you can play multiple lanterns out to be able to get you to that Monstro soon. So the way that this combo works is you have to have Monstro out. You have to play Donald Duck. Donald Duck says that every character can tap to, or exert to draw a card. So you exert your characters to draw cards. Now, when you exert Monstro, you can afterwards discard a card to be able to ready him, which means so long as you have your combo pieces in your hand, you can combo off with him. So you can exert Monstro, draw a card, discard that card, ready Monstro. Exert Monstro, draw a card, discard that card, ready Monstro. And you can do that till you get to the bottom of your deck. Now you want to be able to have Alana Dale either in play or in your discard pile, more likely. And when you combo off, you can bring him back from the discard pile, and then you can just kind of chain We Know the Ways. You can play We Know the Way. It says shuffle a card from your discard pile back into your deck, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the same, has the same name, you play it for free. So if you get to the very bottom of your deck and there's 0 cards left in your deck, and you play We Know the Way, take a different We Know the Way from the discard pile, shuffle it into your deck. Real hard to shuffle 1 card, so you just put that in your deck position.
Remember to present it to your opponent so they can cut your deck.
You can cut your deck. And then you reveal the top card. Guess what? It's going to be no shock to anybody when it's We Know the Way, and you get to play it again for free. Alana Dale in play says that whenever you play a song, you get to gain a lore, which means that every time one of those We Know the Ways hits another We Know the Way, which is a guarantee at this point in time, you get to gain a lore. Now, unfortunately, Lorcana does a game state check every time you do something to see if you hit 20. So you can't combo off to like 1,000,000, but you can combo off to 20 in one turn. And it happened. I don't know if it happened in this game that I'm going to show you, but it totally happens to Josh when he plays.
It is a crime that I cannot go to infinite, just so we're clear.
You cannot go to infinite. You go to 20. That's it. 0 to 20. I think that's impressive still.
Fair.
So here's the game. Hopefully, seeing the game will explain the combo maybe a little bit better than I did. All right, so we're going to go into the game here. Josh just inks and passes. Inking and passing is not that big of a deal because with combo, you need cards in your hand. You need options. And if he didn't know what I was playing, what he wanted to play might be determined by what I'm playing. However, if he plays a Lantern, he can get that 1 drop out on turn 2 as well, while setting himself up to be able to play more cards quicker as far as their ink cost goes. So, you know, Sapphire bonuses without being Sapphire. He's going to pay 3 ink and the Lantern to be able to play a Genie a turn early, and then he's going to damage the Daisy there. Neither character gets taken out. But I'm going to play some more characters, as many characters as possible, and I'm going to quest. Now, in theory, that Daisy could have traded with the Rafiki, but I'd prefer to make Josh do the work of taking out my characters as opposed to doing it for him. So he is, again, a turn ahead here because of that Lantern, and he's going to use the Lantern and his ink to be able to play an Elsa. So that Elsa's going to exert one of my characters, and then he's going to throw all of his characters into my characters, only losing the Rafiki and keeping the Elsa and the Genie, but emptying out most of my field. Now, problem with aggro is that it can just do it again and unload as much of his hand as possible and kind of threaten more lore. So that's kind of one of the balances here with combos. You have to figure out how much you have to interact with your opponent to be able to buy you those turns to be able to get you to the end of the game, and how much can you ignore your opponent to be able to, say, do what he's doing here, which is using his Dumbo ability to draw cards. I'm going to do strength. I'm going to get rid of his Dumbo there, which is the problem. I double ink here. I catch it right after this. I get rid of the Genie, but nope, I realize I can't do that, and we undo that real quick. And then it is going to go back to Josh's turn. So I have a bunch of characters here. He just has 2. But the game's not over till you hit 20, so you don't have to be super worried about aggro decks. I mean, you do have to keep them in check, so taking down their characters like he did there. And then being able to push some of his own game forward. So he plays an Iago, and then he's going to play 2 Rafikis. And that gives him a lot of kind of threatening power there to be able to hit my characters back, to be able to keep me in check. I replay the Lilo from the discard pile. That strength I tried to play last. I'm going to play now to get rid of the Iago with Vanish. And then I'm going to quest up till 10. So I'm questing. I'm going to try to make Josh do the work of taking my characters out, which is, I guess, the aggro's version of dealing with control, which is kind of make them take turns off their game. However, if you look at this, he's got the 2 Rafikis, which are not really working towards his combo or card draw engine, so they're just going to be used to take care of my characters. And that Madam Mim Tiny Adversary is the one that we talked about before, which is just a fantastic card for being able to make those trades a little bit better. She gives all of your characters +1, Challenger 1, which does often make the difference of getting rid of the characters when you're just a point shy of it. He's going to play the first part of his combo here, which is the Donald Duck. This has a when he comes into play effect. You can exert a character to draw a card. And you can do it with all of your characters. So he's going to do it with all of his characters to gain as many cards as possible. Rationale there being that he might be missing some combo pieces, and he wants to get down as far into his deck as possible to be able to increase the chances of drawing the cards that he needs. I'm going to go up to 12. I got 2 Tianas out. I mean, he can totally fight through 2 Tianas if he needs to, but it's always kind of the question here about what's worth fighting into versus what's worth kind of pushing your own game forward. So he uses Monstro to get rid of a Tiana, which is gross because he should be 1 point off, but like I had just said, that Madam Mim makes those trades just 1 better, and he doesn't even need to pay the Tiana tax. So Mim lets him take Tiana out in 1 shot, and then he's going to take my Lilo out as well. I play a Daisy and a Pluto. I didn't bring the Lilo back because I knew I had the Pluto in my hand, and I'm trying to figure out here, what do I want to do? Josh is at 8. Having a combo deck go this late game and have this many things out is always dangerous. So I'm going to choose to quest and hope that he is just looking at my side of the board and realizing I go up to 19 and thinking that he has to deal with me as opposed to him winning the game. He plays a second Donald Duck, which means all of his characters now can exert to draw cards, which is what he just did there, which now he's got like, feels like half his deck in his hand. And he's indicating that he is exerting Monstro, discarding a card, running Monstro, and doing that over and over and over again until he's going to get through his entire deck. And he's just going to fast track this by emptying his deck into his discard pile. He's looking for his combo pieces there, which is 2 We Know the Ways and an Alan Adale. I saw him draw it earlier. I remember he was a little bit panicked thinking, uh-oh, do I have it? So this is how this works. He plays We Know the Way. He shuffles Alan Adale back into his deck. Shocker when it's the only thing left in his deck, and he gets to play it for free off the We Know the Way. He's going to discard anything in his hand, and he's going to ready Monstro to put play the We Know the Way, put the second one back into his deck, and again, shocker when he reveals a We Know the Way. And he just chains the 2 of them until he goes up to 20. All right, so that is how the deck is supposed to work in a perfect world. There's a lot of different ways that this can work, but the gist is have Monstro out, play Donald Duck, go through your deck to be able to play Alan Adale or cheat him in from the discard pile, and then just chain We Knows the Ways until you hit 20. It is a very strong deck, and that is the case for a lot of combos. A lot of combos, the fact that they can combo off and gain you so much lore, or all of your lore in one turn, makes them a very, very, very strong choice and very powerful choice to be able to win the game. They are, however, not for beginners. Combo can be very tricky because all of your decisions need to be balanced on either what do you need to do to be able to stall the game and stop your opponent from being able to win, so being able to interact with your opponent, and how much further ahead can you let your opponent get, because getting to your combo faster is going to win you the game. So as we've seen a bunch of times, especially with me playing aggro, you don't win till you hit 20. So it doesn't matter if your opponent's at 19. You can let them get lore because you can go from 0 to 20 in one turn. It makes you feel like a genius when combo goes off, but like I said, there are a lot of decisions to make, and it is a lot of pressure and very tempting to be able to look at your combo pieces and say, I'm going to keep these because they're my combo pieces, but you always play multiples of your combo pieces, so if you need to ink them away or get rid of them to be able to do something, especially with these combo pieces being so expensive, like the 8 drops are for the characters, it is important to be able to balance kind of how you can combo off and what you need to be able to do to survive to combo off. Now, the best thing about these decks is that they they're not a one-trick pony. They can win in other ways. And Josh has won a bunch of times with this deck by just questing as well, even though that's not the goal. And you can see he looks disappointed behind me with me pointing that out.
Like, it can play a fair game.
It can play a fair game.
Play a fair game. You can just high roll someone, which in the Blurple meta feels like a reasonable place to be. I'm gonna play nice and fair until all of a sudden I'm not fair anymore and we're just gonna win.
And so when it comes down to this deck, he's found that he's got a good time against Blurple because it does need to go end game, which means he has the time to set it up. Blurple also wants to be able to set themselves up, so it's kind of a race there about who's going to set up first, but a combo deck will typically win out just because if both are given the time to set up, combo doesn't need to interact with their opponent. Against aggro, he's got a good shot too if he goes first. If aggro goes first, or if aggro stumbles a little bit, he can often buy that extra turn or two to be able to go off on his combo. However, really fast aggro decks do tend to make themselves a problem for combo decks, because if they're going to win by turn 5 or turn 6, a combo deck needs to be able to control that aggro deck, which means they're potentially taking turns off of their combo. Which is why we have a lot of the early game fighters like Rafiki and Royal Guard and Mim to be able to deal with decks like my deck. So that is kind of the gist of this deck. It's fun. It's nuts to see it go off. A couple times Josh has started going through his deck. I just grabbed my phone. Like, tell me when you're at 20. Because I know it's just going to be him playing like solo Lorcana until he hits 20 there.
I don't want to play with people. It's fine.
It's a fun deck. If you are into the idea of combos, you should totally try it. There's a bunch of different combos that exist in Lorcana. This is the only one that seems potentially viable to take to a DLC, and Josh is taking it to Bologna. At least that's what he's currently on. He goes back and forth on it.
I'm gonna play this. This looks fun. Okay. It's gonna be a dumb deck, and if I surprise one person with it, it'll be worth it. I don't really care.
So that is the deck highlight here for the We Know the Way combo. I'm a visual person. I need to see it work in order to understand how it works. It's nuts to see it go off.
really is.